Hey, it's Rachel. Um, I have a hard time looking directly at the camera, so just please forgive me. Um, and forgive this stain on my shirt. I don't even know if y'all can see it. Yeah. So I've already recorded a video, and then I realized some of y'all might not want to know the story. You might just want to know, what's the problem, what's going on. So I'm gonna put this video out. Um, if you want to hear the story, I rambled on. Everybody knows I'm a rambler. It's almost like 2 hours long, but I could chop it up into pieces. But if you want to hear the story, like the video and give me a comment. And I'll post those. I'll chop that video up into multiple sections, and then I'll post that. Um, the purpose of this video is for those who are just want the short, sweet story and straight to the point of what's, really going on. Um, the simple fact is that I was diagnosed with PCOS. PCOS is an acronym for polycystic ovary or ovarian syndrome. Uh, and that actually led to um, multiple other health issues. Um, Basically, what PCOS is this video may be kind of a TMI, so I'm gonna just warn y'all now before I start talking about what PCOS is. It has everything to do with the woman's anatomy, pretty much. So, the way you have your ovaries and you have your fallopian tube, which connects to um, your uterus, your cervix area, and women with PCOS have different ways that it affects them. You have women who might menstruate for a prolonged period of time, which is what happened to me. And then you have other women who have maybe one or two cycles out of an entire year. Um, so for me, I menstruated from September of 2014 until January 2015 straight. So pretty much what PCOS does, it affects your hormones and a couple of other things into your body. So the way the ovaries work is um, your ovaries create eggs. What a normal woman would do is it creates the eggs. The follicles in the ovaries that have created the eggs will then release the egg. It will travel down to your fallopian tube into um, your uterus, and it attaches to the side, the lining of your uterus. At this point, that's when the whole, ovulation, you have a short period of time where you can conceive. Um, if the egg is not fertilized, then the lining of your uterine walls will then shed, and that is what you call a period, a cycle. Um, what my ovaries are doing is it's never releasing an egg. So it's still attached to the follicles that are within my ovaries. And sorry, this is kind of difficult to talk about. Um, and they just sit there. And once they're there, it then creates into a cyst. Um, so I have 8 on one side and 9 on the other, or 7 on one side and 8 on the other. Point blank, it's a lot. I cannot remember. It's between 7 and 9. Um, and um, my eggs are not releasing. However, it's triggering my hormones. So that has a lot to do with a woman ovulating and a woman when your ovaries will release and when it doesn't release. It has a lot to do with your progesterone levels, your estrogen, your testosterone, etc. Everything kind of communicates with each other. Um, the levels of progesterone communicates with your ovaries. So if you have too much or too little, then it'll trick your ovaries into thinking that you should be on your cycle for this amount of time, or you shouldn't be on your cycle for this amount of time. Hence why women flow for consecutive weeks or months, and how some women only have a menstrual cycle only a couple of times throughout the year, as opposed to one every month. um, However, I'm kind of a mystery because my levels are normal. Women who are on birth control, some of the end parts of the birth control before your cycle starts are filled with progesterone, and that's what lets your body know, hey, you need to have a cycle. The pills that you take after that are kind of like iron pills, supplement pills of some sort, etc. Most of you women probably already know this, so I'm just really kind of speaking to those who don't. Um, there are many side effects that come with having PCOS. Um, you can have cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, um, diabetes. It can lead to diabetes because it messes with your insulin. And that's one of the issues that I'm having. I have become insulin resistant. And with those who either have diabetes um, or who are insulin resistant, it's really hard to lose weight. Basically, what insulin resistant means is your body has a hard time breaking down sugars that you are consuming, um, which equates to weight gain, which is another side effect. You have tremendous weight gain. You can have a suppressed appetite. You can have enhanced appetite. Some things come in full circle. You can have excess hair growth all over your body. Uh, you can also lose a lot of hair as well. So it's a double-headed coin. I think that's the saying. Um, none of the side effects are good, and none of the side effects are bad. Point blank. Period. Um, Sometimes some women experience cyst popping within their ovaries, which is very, 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 very painful. I have um, experienced that there's really nothing that you can do. It isn't really life threatening, so it's no need to go to the hospital or anything for it. However, if you would like to and you think that you're experiencing that, by all means go. They probably are just going to put you on some pain medication to get you through it. I am suffering from the excessive hair growth. I just thought it was a thing when I was younger. That I had really thick sideburns, and I had this one little random hair on my chin, and that one hair turned into like three, which turned into a patch on my right side, which ended up turning to a whole patch on the left side. And it really messes with your mental and psychological thoughts of, feeling feminine, being feminine. Because y'all, like, I left this to grow, and I'm gonna show y'all because I'm just being real, and I'm just being honest and kind of vulnerable. So I'm gonna show y'all what this does. So, there's the hair here and over here. My sideburns are right here. For years, y'all, years, I was waxing, shaving, plucking, hair removing. I was doing like the most, to hide it. I didn't find it attractive for myself, so I really didn't think it would have been attractive to anybody else, let alone, something that would have been accepted, especially in a dating pool. Uh, so, that was one thing. Another thing is finding out that, it contributes to your weight gain. I'm kind of damned if I do and damned if I don't. It's really hard to lose weight. I mean, it's hella easy to gain it, but it's really hard to lose it. I mean, when I say I can eat a cookie and gain 25 pounds, like that's real life, to be honest. And it probably take me a whole year just to lose that 25 pounds, if that's even possible. Your body is pretty much at this point fighting against itself. It's really its own worst enemy, and there's really nothing that you can do about it. I mean, you can change your eating habits, you can exercise a lot. I mean, you got people that do that all the time and the weight just doesn't seem to budge. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't stay motivated and still fight it. But that is one of the struggles that you're going to deal with if you have PCOS. And that's one of the struggles that I deal with. Really more so because, I was labeled as pre-diabetic. So I was put on medication to make sure that I don't become diabetic, which is metformin. Again, all of that stuff is talked about in the other video. If if you have personal questions, let me know. But I can just release the video that, you can see and watch, and it tells you everything from September until now. But anyway, I also have developed high blood pressure and I have a heart murmur. That kind of has contributed to everything, and I'm trying to do my best to make sure that I do not develop high blood pressure. I mean, not high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease. I mean, because that's pretty much the next the next step. I have other things that have happened, but I do not believe that it is a direct link to my PCOS. Just the high blood pressure and the cardiovascular and the heart murmur. But this video is really just to educate you on some of the side effects. And like I said, everybody has something different that happens to them that have PCOS. For me, it has been a physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, psychological journey for me. It's been a challenge. I mean, because it encompasses everything that I've gone through, on top of the other health issues that I have had. And really just, the simple fact, which is really sad to say, but there's not a lot of doctors out there that specialize in PCOS or that knows anything about PCOS. You got doctors that just want to, either put you on birth control or put you on IUD and say, hey, there you go. That's what regulates your cycle. And for those people who know the statistics about PCOS, I mean, it's a very real thing that causes infertility in women. And if you're already, on the head of being infertile, and then you want to put IUD, and that already has its own percentage of risk of being infertile, once you decide to get it removed and have a baby, that just wasn't the route that I was trying to take. I mean, it's your choice if that's something that you want to do. I just really am still looking and hoping for somebody who's really educated in the medical field that knows more about PCOS or that's willing to do the research about PCOS. I mean, it is a very real thing, and most people don't know that 1 in every 3 women have PCOS. Women are walking around here not even knowing that they have PCOS. A lot of women don't even track their menstrual cycles. I was one that didn't really track it. I tracked it every now and then, but not so often. So I could have very well been that one person, that's been walking around and didn't even know that I had PCOS. I don't know if I skipped a month or if I didn't skip a month or if I, was flowing for uh more than 7 days. I'm a 7 day girl. I mean, I could have been flowing for 8 or 9 days and didn't even know and didn't even think much about it. Um, so I just really want to reach out to people and say, especially if you're a woman or if you know somebody, your sister, your mother, your aunt, whomever, your girlfriend, um, whomever, keep track of your cycle. If you're having such things as a lot of hair loss, if you are not having cycles as often, if you have any irregular cycles and things of that nature, please go see a gynecologist. Please go find out, you know, is there something going on, that you need to know about? I mean, it could be nothing, but it could also be something. I mean, PCOS is kind of the start to find out if you have endometriosis, if you have uterine cancer or cervical cancer, or I mean, it's a lot of things that go on. Get your pap smear if you're sexually active, um, ask hard questions, ask uncomfortable questions, find a doctor, that you can become comfortable with, and you can have those kind of conversations and let them know, this is what I have been experienced. I have an extreme amount of pain when I am on my cycle, or hey, I haven't had a cycle in 6 months, you know, because I mean, when you're young like me, you don't really think about at the time children and your significant other, and you know what else is going to happen in the future, because you're not really there, and to really be thinking about those things. But those are very real things. Just because you're not thinking about them now doesn't mean that you should wait until later to talk about them. Because I would love to have kids one day, and at the ripe age of 23, I found out that, I might have a very difficult time conceiving, and that is a hard pill to swallow, but that is my reality, and that could be very well your reality. And you just need to be very proactive and have a lot of people that are around you that are willing to learn what's going on with you and have a support system. I mean, especially for me, I mean, I'm a foodie, and it was really hard for me to try to eat well. I fell off the wagon because some people didn't really fully support me trying to make a food change, and you know changing my diet, and a lot of that has to do with me, because self-control is a very big thing, but when you're an emotional wreck, self-control kind of goes out the window for me personally. And your support base is what you're going to need when you go through anything really, but something like this, especially one that you really didn't see, that you really didn't see in your future, or didn't really think of was going to be an issue. um And if you cannot find the support that you're looking for from the people that are around you, just, pray about it. Pray to whomever you believe in, meditate, do whatever you need to do Because at the end of the day, sorry, my computer died. At the end of the day, you know, you are only going to be your biggest cheerleader. You can get you through everything, you and whomever you believe in. That is one of the biggest things that I have learned uh, in this is, nobody was there with me when I had to go and do all these tests, or go through the examinations and all of that, x-rays and MRIs, etc., etc. It was just me. The support leaves you at the door when they roll you away, or whatever the case may be. I mean, you can always pick it back up once you come out of that procedure, but at the end of the day, you have to be strong enough to do a lot of the things yourself, and don't expect people to understand. um, don't expect people to understand, because they won't. Unless nobody can understand what somebody else is going through unless they've gone through it themselves. However, what you can expect from people is to have some type of empathy. Um, Empathy. Not sympathy, but empathy. And if they don't, then you just know what you have to do for yourself. Just because I have PCOS doesn't mean my life is over. And just because you find out that you might have this, that, or the third doesn't mean that your life is over. Just stay strong, be proactive, read, educate yourself. Educate yourself, educate yourself. Spread the things that you know and share the information that you have learned with those around you that are willing to understand and willing to want to be some type of support system for you, because um, it's very important. It is very important. And a closed mouth never gets fed. And, that's one of the main reasons why I'm talking about it. I'm willing to share, my information about what I've gone through and what has happened. Because I didn't tell anybody. Didn't really want to tell anybody, because the little bit of information that I was putting out, either on social media, via text message or phone calls or whatever, it wasn't enough. Like, that little bit of information wasn't enough for somebody to check on me. I mean, it is what it is. So the way that I processed it was, you know, you're just going to have to get through this yourself. And when you're ready, then you're ready. It would be very unfortunate that I would keep what has happened to me and what is still happening to me and what I'm going through to myself, for those who might be going through the same thing. I don't think that would be fair, because what I did was I took to YouTube myself. I learned about other women, and though some of the stories were very hurtful and saddening and emotional, they were a help nonetheless, because I could connect with those people and with those individuals, because I was going through that. And nobody around me knew. Nobody around me understood. The people that did know, they were just too busy living their own lives, because the reality is that, you know, the world does not stop because you don't feel well and that you're going through something. People still have to pay bills and feed themselves and take care of their children and go to work, and there's, a whole bunch of things that people have to do. And just because you're going through something doesn't mean that the world stops for you. So with that being said, that means that you just have to fight harder, because not everybody is going to stop dead in their tracks to help you. and you need to find a way, talk to somebody, get a therapist, journal, vlog, um, color, anything, design, do a hobby, anything that will keep you sane in order to get through another day, whomever you are, and for whatever you are going through, do that, because that is what has helped me, to be completely honest with you. Um, there was nobody for me to talk to, and I just made a way. And I'm at a space and a place where I'm I want to talk to whoever was me in the beginning. You know, everything's gonna be all right. Um, Google it, read about it, go to Barnes and Noble, find a book on your Kindle, whatever you need to do to learn more about PCOS, the effects that it has, what kind of doctors you need to see. You need to see a gynecologist. You need to see an endocrinologist, because the endocrinologist talks about your glands and knows things about your glands, and your glands secrete your hormones, and it communicates with your insulin. So those are the two major people that you do need to see. So I'm just going to give you a head start, but all the other information is really going to be up to you. If you do have questions about what kind of pains that I have experienced, um, what does it feel like? How would you know? What are some of the things that you should be concerned about and some of the things that you shouldn't be concerned about? Those kind of things, those kind of questions. Leave me a comment. Let me know. Um, Write me. I'm open. I don't have a job right now because of all the medical issues that are going on with me. So really, honestly, I have nothing but time, and I just really kind of want to be a support system for someone else. And in turn, you're pretty much helping me too. So PCOS is the major thing that has been happening to me. And though you can live through it, it affects people very differently. And it affected me very differently than a lot of people. Um, but it is a very real thing. It is a very real thing. And I kind of just wanted to open myself up to those who want to know. Um, Again, like I said earlier in this video, I have a whole story um, about how everything happened in a linear time, what I went through, what were the procedures that I did.